is that you can decide to focus on anything and you can achieve it. Goals have to be very specific. Okay? That's what that study showed. This is in the area of financial. So what we want to do, we want to discover our purpose and where we fit. And then we can set effective goals. That's why sometimes goals don't work. Some people go to workshops and they all fired up while they're in the workshop. And then a few days later they go back into the environment and everything is just dead again. Because they're really not in touch with themselves. They really want to be someplace else. So we can find a place. And we'll talk about how you can get caught in that and not do anything else. The idea is that this doesn't mean that you don't be realistic and know that you have to work someplace to make a living. That doesn't mean that. It simply means you have 24 hours in a day. You're not going to be doing that job you just like for 24 hours because you have to sleep. You sleep 8, you work 8, and then what about just 2 or 4 hours working on the thing you really want to do? You know what that is. Okay? That takes into account that the fact that you are constantly preparing for what it is you really want to do. Now, we know realistically that no student can leave school today. If a student tells me my passion is a doctor, it might be. We know that student can't leave high school today and become a medical doctor tomorrow. If that student did, it would never work on me. No. Never work on me. Because that student doesn't have any experience. There's preparation time between where you are and your vision. There's preparation time. So while you're preparing, yes, you have to eat. Well, you better go. We're going to get you a job in the meantime here. Okay. But we'll keep you working on your mission and your purpose. That make sense? Okay. Again, small groups, I mentioned that earlier. And then we're the first and only career planning school for the K-12 education environment. What we are simply saying this, and I did this too, all my career exploration took place after high school and into adulthood. What we're simply saying, we have enough research now to say, if we can take that, if we can explore in the K-12 environment, we can get mom and dad to pay for that. Okay, we don't pay for it ourselves. If we do it after high school, we don't have to pay for it ourselves. That's what most of us do now. We pay for that because we have to explore. So what we want to do now is get them to explore in the K-12 environment. Get them explore while they're in high school so that they can, in fact, reduce it to from 15 choices down to 2 or 3, and they can come up with a major or minor. Okay. We provide counseling, career coaching, and education coaching services. The coaching is needed to keep the students on track, to keep them on track with what they are doing or think they want to do, that sort of thing. School success curriculum was designed to meet specific needs of employers. That's what those research questions are. In other words, we know that employers are having a lot of problems with people, and if they're having problems with people, it's probably because the person might not want to be there.
That's right.
They may not really want to be there. So you don't have to fire people. We have programs to help people. The job might be right in the house. I've done this. We provide career planning service for employers who hire entry-level people because they don't know what they're getting into, and so once they draw the first check, some of them leave. Many of them leave. So we teach them that. If they go through our process, we take care of that. The program is flexible for the student and for the employer. Next. Okay, the literature review. I reviewed over 135 books on this subject, and they were recorded in my dissertation as literature review. So, Career Counseling America is efficient if it exists at all. Okay, and that's a very important area. It runs through everything. Career counseling consists of holding a single career day. That's what most people call career development. One day out of the year, they have a career day, and then that's it. Now, look at the ratio. For schools with counselors, the counselor-student ratio in California ranges from 1 to 448 on the low end and 1 to 971 on the high end. You're losing it. California is the worst state in the nation. Somebody guess who's the best state with that? I bet you won't guess that. Who?
New York.
Rhode Island?
No.
Michigan.
Delaware. Arkansas.
You say New Jersey? Who said New Jersey? Arkansas? No. Okay. Well, I'll tell you. What is it?
New Jersey.
Alaska.
New Orleans.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. 224 to 1 counselor. They're the best right now in the nation. And the American School Council Association says it should be 1 to 250 now. That's too high. But the reason they say that, when budgets are made, when budget cuts are made, who do they cut? Counselors.
Oh, yeah.
They cut counselors. So they're saying, 1 to 250. The training centers do, like, for example, look at a job coach center. They do, one person had 1 to 80, the others had 1 to 40. So see, they're closer. They're closer to that.
What are you saying it should be?
Well, the American School Council Association says 1 to 250. I think it needs to be much lower than that to be truly effective. Yeah. Because you're talking about 1 person to 250 students.
For middle and high school.
Yeah.
Yes. What's ideal for middle and high school?
Well, what we're doing, we're saying for 1 teacher, it shouldn't be any more than about 15. They tried to reduce the class size to 1 to 20. But we're saying it shouldn't be, our study revealed that it shouldn't be any more than 1 to 15. And what we do. And we start to reassign, which means we're helping to create jobs for people who want to do that sort of thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yours is...
1 to 15, yeah.
No, yours is more, it's really an added benefit to business as much as it is to education.
Absolutely. We're bringing the 2 groups together and say, look, you have the butterfly. And now... later in life, the employer is going to have that caterpillar, and we want that butterfly to understand when he's a caterpillar. Okay? Going through that process. Now, look at these statistics. That's what I'm talking about. Take a look at that. The 3 on the left, Utah, Wyoming, and Louisiana. Look at that. Now all 3 headed in the right direction. See, 224 to 1. Now, Louisiana went from 996 to 224. Okay? Now, look at our state.
California, baby.
Yeah. Now, I have statistics on every state. I can tell you every state. And most states are well above that 250 to 1. Only a few below the 250 to 1. So most states are completely out of line. Counselor to student ratio. Okay? Next. The results of the study reveal that students and parents believe the school success program is needed at the middle school level. Go ahead, next. At the school site where the dissertation study was done, 58% said that they knew, and they thought they knew. Well, a principal came to me one day and said, well, you're concerned about people that don't know. What about the ones that know? I hadn't thought about that because I'm really concerned about those who were hurting. And so the teacher said that... how am I doing in terms of time? Okay?
Perfect.
Okay. The principal said to me, what about those who are doing good? So I started to look at that group, and guess what I discovered? I discovered that students who were making excellent grades, who in fact had GPAs of 3.5 and 4.0s, needed career guidance. They didn't know what to do with all that education they had. Asked them to do a 15-step math problem. They could knock it out, but they couldn't make the relation to it in the real world.
Yeah. That's right.
That's right. And that's what we teach. We teach them how to make that relationship. Yes. How to make that relationship and how it looks over there. It looks different. 40% said they didn't. That's all right. 42% said they did not know. Okay. But now, look at the statistics. Look at the changes. Some who thought they knew realized they didn't know. A few maintain that. But that's why now, once we put them in, we know they have to have time to grow. They have to have time to experiment.
Yes.
They have to have time to do this thing. I mean, I wish I had known this earlier in life, but everything has to do with timing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then 8% need more training. Those students went from a point where they didn't know anything until about 3 or 4 choices. But they needed more training because we want to get them closer than that. Okay. Next. Influence on student motivation. The parents and the students thought that they were motivated to learn based upon what they were taught in the program. And in fact, there was only one student that said that, I think this is too early for me. But when she was through with the program, she realized there was a lot that she didn't know because we started to show her all these different careers and the fact that a student can go to college